welcome to part 3 of the Aim Trainer instructions. Keep in mind, you should have done part 1 on Wednesday, you should have done part 2 on Thursday, and today is Friday, we are doing part 3 mouse interactions. To make sure you are ready to begin, the last thing we did yesterday was we made bouncing targets. Here you will see my targets moving around. I'm actually going to make that a little faster because this is very slow. Here are my targets bouncing off the walls. All 4 of your walls should be functioning, so please make sure that is true for you as well. Other things you should have a draw target function, you should have a shrink function, and you should have a target list at the very minimum. Mine is called target list, your list may be called something different. Make sure you have these 3 functions, and make sure that you have a list at the top. We're going to do a couple things to clean up our code right now. You will notice that my shrink timer is currently commented out. Please comment out your bounce function as well. You're going to have just 2 targets that are not moving at all because we turned off their animations. Please make sure that is true for you as well. I am going to make sure that the mouse clicking works for this first before I actually add on the animations again. So what we need to do now is follow these instructions for part 3. Number 1, set up a 4th function for using the mouse. We have 1 function, 2 functions, 3 functions. Now I'm going to do my 4th function at the very bottom here. This is going to be for clicking with my mouse. I'm going to call this clicker. You can call it whatever you want. The important thing is, because I'm going to use this as a mouse click function, I need to put the word mouse inside there. The first thing I should do with my mouse functions is always set my mouse x position to be mouse.getX and my mouse y position. I'm going to use these variables. You do not have to. You can directly write the mouse.getX and mouse.gety in there. Totally fine as well. What I need to do now is I need to know what am I clicking on. So I'm going to say let clicked on be my element at, so I get element at the mouse x position and the mouse y position. If I actually click on something, so if my click on is not equal to null, I'm just going to write console log hit. Otherwise, I'm going to write console log miss. This is just going to tell me whether or not my clicker is working. At the very bottom here, do not forget to add your mouse click method, yes, that moment of forgetting. And put the name of your function in here. So we're going to write clicker down there. Run this code. If I do not click on a target, it's going to say miss. If I click on a target, it should say hit. Cool. The hard part here is now figuring out which target do I want to get rid of. That's going to be the trickiest part of this section. So what I really want to do is I need to know which numbered target am I on. Is it the first one or the second one? The big issue with that is my targets were made in the draw target function using 3 different circles. I had outer, middle, and center. Your circles may be called something different. Please go up to your draw target function. We're going to add something new to this top section of your code, so scroll all the way to the very top. What we're going to do now is I want to count how many targets do I actually have on screen. Up here I have some constants. These are things that stay the same every single time. I want to keep a count of how many targets I have. So I'm going to say let num target, something like that, equals 0. At the very beginning of my code, I have no targets. But whenever I run the draw target function, what this does is it makes a singular target made up of 3 circles. So the very first thing I'm going to do in here is increase my target count. My number of targets is going to increase by 1 by using num target plus plus. This tells me which target am I on. All the circles that are related to that target, I'm going to add a variable to them. We did this before with the horizontal speed and vertical speed. What I'm going to do is for every single target here, so for outer, I'm going to write outer dot We'll say num, or number. The number of target that this one is, the target number, is going to be equal to whichever num targets I have. Same thing for the middle one. The middle piece is still part of that first target. So my middle's number is going to be num target as well. Same for the center piece. Center dot number is going to be equal to num target. Now when I run this draw target again, it's going to tell me which target am I on. Oops, give a second, write that down. Then we're going to scroll down to the clicker. Here, this console log tells me we missed. This console log tells me we hit. I want to say this one hit which target. So I'm going to write the clicked on object dot number. So I should see exactly which target I hit. This is a miss. This is also a miss. This should be a hit too. This should also be the second target, even if I click the very edge here. Notice how the other circle, no matter which one of these parts I click on, will say hit 1 instead. Make sure that is true for yours as well. And again, if I miss, I should be able to click around. I hit target number 2, I hit target number 1, and so on. That's going to let me figure out, okay, which of these am I actually clicking on? Now that we figured that out, we can actually remove the targets that are valid for us. So first we want to say, okay, if we click on something, and let's make sure it's a target by using an AND statement. And the thing that we clicked on, it has a number that is greater than 0. If we click on something that does not have a number, it'll be set to 0. We can keep that hit statement there. The other thing I'm going to do is I have to go through my list. If I do click on a target, I should remove everything with that target number. So I'm going to write that for loop again. For let I be 0. I is just any number. I'm going to make I because it represents the word index. I'm going to go through my whole list. I'm going to write I has to be less than my target list.length. And I'm going to write I++. My goal here is I want to remove every single target, assuming that it has the same number. So my goal is if the target I'm looking at, we should probably have a piece too. We'll say let the piece of a target be equal to target list square bracket I. We're going to say if my piece has a number that is exactly equal to the number of the thing that I clicked on. Then I want to remove that piece from the screen, and I want to remove it from my list. I'm going to take target list.remove I. And here's something weird that you have to add whenever you remove something. Because my list gets smaller, I then need to go down in value in order to make sure I don't skip any pieces. So let's run this again. Click, I miss. If I click on the red circle here, it says hit 2. If I click on the white circle in the middle of this one over here, it'll say hit 1, and the circles have disappeared. Now my clicker is working. Your next step is to make sure your clicker works with both animations. So for now, I'm going to turn on my bounce by removing that //. Here are my bouncing targets. I'm going to try to click on one. Miss. Oh gosh, there we go. I hit target number 2. Don't judge me, I'm on a trackpad. Okay, we can't hit that one, but you get the point. The bounce is working. Here we have shrink up here. So go ahead and remove the //. And here are shrinking targets. I should be able to remove them. We'll go again, remove and remove. No problems there. That's everything for part 3.